This is Warlock. It is a role-playing game I've had for a while, but not got around to using. It is inspired by the British role-playing games of the 80s, like Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay and Fighting Fantasy. And the way it works is a little unusual. You have skills, and you roll a d20 when you're trying to do a task, add whatever skill is most appropriate, and if you get a 20 or more, you succeed. The GM may say you have to take a -2 or a -4 on your skill for this because it's really, really difficult. But that's basically how it works. You can also have opposed skill rolls, so you might use diplomacy and the other person might use something else. An NPC would have a straight out single skill that they would add to their roll. So you would roll this, wow, and add your diplomacy. The NPC or the GM would roll and add the NPC's skill or whatever, and the highest succeeds. Combat is also a bit interesting, unusual. For initiative, if it's not clear who goes first, you both roll a d6 and the highest goes first. The person who has the initiative adds 5 to their d20 roll when they add their weapon skill, be it a blunt weapon maybe, or a large blade or whatever it is. And the other person rolls a d20 and adds their weapon skill, and the highest hits the other. So they then roll damage, and the person who receives the damage will roll an armor roll for whatever armor they've got, and that will deduct from the damage done to a minimum of 1. Ranged combat works in the same way. It is also an opposed roll, but the person shooting would add their bow skill, and the person who is the target would roll against their dodge skill. So you roll that, add your bow skill, the GM would roll and add the NPC's dodge skill, and if you get the highest, you hit. If they get the highest, they dodge out of your arrow or stone or whatever. Magical spells are kept on scrolls, and you can attempt to cast a spell as many times as you like, but each time you attempt it, you pay a stamina cost. Now if the spell goes wrong, as in you roll a 1 on a d20 on your incantation check, then you roll on an oops table where yes, nasty things can happen. So magic is rare and dangerous, but you can do a lot of damage with it, sometimes to yourself. Now it is meant to be a generic system that you can use with any setting, but there is an implied setting called the Kingdom, and it sounds really interesting because there's these little bits of information about it all throughout the book, and yes, it could be a down the rabbit hole kind of situation where you end up wanting to buy lots of books, but unlike basic fantasy, these books are not inexpensive and the PDFs are not free, so yes, you need to be sure that it's your kind of thing before you go in for it. And the first stage of creating your character is to choose where you want to assign your skill levels. Now you start with 10 skills at level 6, 10 more at level 5, and the rest at level 4. So you assign those numbers however you like. Then you roll 2d6 and add 12 for your stamina, and 1d6 and add 7 for your luck. Now most of the characters in the implied setting will be human, but you can also choose to be a dwarf, elf or a halfling. It doesn't actually make any in-game difference in terms of the rules. And then you have like 2d6 silver coins, d3 days worth of food and water, backpack, water skin, eating knife, clothes and boots. That's your basic stuff you start out with. My stamina ended up being 24, but his luck is 8, so yeah, not so good on the luck. Now we have this interesting careers chart where we get 4 choices of career. So the first die comes up agitator, second is Grave Robber, third is Miner, and fourth is Rat Catcher. So we can choose one of those four. So I quite like the idea of the Agitator, because I had in mind a sort of tough as old boots kind of character, and his persuasion is pretty good at the start. So we can take, these are the skills that we can advance in this career. Those are the maximum that we can learn as we gain advances in skills from the GM. So we shall distribute 10 points amongst those special skills on here, but we cannot exceed the maximum for that career. And with each career there is also a couple of charts at the bottom where you can add a bit of flavour to your background, but that sort of ties into the setting of the kingdom for Warlock, but it gives you some neat ideas. So I have worked for the mayor's rival and I am hunted by the church. So there. Now there are also some character traits you can choose from. You can pick 3 from this list or just make up your own. So we have Jacob Wormwood, the Agitator. Each character has a career skill for whatever their career is, and that is an average of the 5 particular skills associated with that career rounded up. So all his 5 skills divided by 5 add up to 8. And Bill Noble, the militiaman, his career skill works out at 7, and he is hopeful, trustworthy and compassionate, and Jacob is cowardly, cruel and selfish. Now Jacob is being hunted by the church, and Bill Noble, in his background, he worked in the temple district and he saw a priest smash a rival with a scepter, so there's some kind of connection to the church between these two. So yeah, I've always sort of wondered how Warlock would work with the Midderlands, because that seems like an appropriate setting for a sort of slightly grimdark but not too grimdark kind of deal, and very green. So yeah, let's have a think about that and see what we come up with. But before we get into all of that, I will quickly mention luck. Anytime the Games Master asks you to test your luck to avoid some unfortunate occurrence, you may choose to perform a standard test using your luck value as a skill. If you pass, you avoid the situation. If not, well, bad luck. In any case, you deduct 1 from your luck score for the rest of the adventure. It is always the player's choice to test luck. They don't have to if they don't want to. And you can also use luck in opposed tests to break a draw. Now, we've used Mithra, the goddess of luck, before in one of our Midderlands adventures, so perhaps there's a temple to Mithra in a particular town, but the priests there are taking liberties with money and spending the money on frivolous things and trying to big themselves up, and they're quite corrupt. So Jacob, even though he's quite a disreputable character, he's any excuse for a row. He's taking umbrage and he's agitating against this particular temple of Mithra, and that's upset the priests, so they're trying to shut him up. And Bill Noble has had first-hand experience of seeing these corrupt priests in action when one seemed to injure or even possibly kill another priest who he had had a row with or whatever. So perhaps Bill and Jacob meet up in a pub, and where there's general banter about this temple of Mithra and the dodgy priests, and those two get talking about the issues that are going on there. So this little guy can be Jacob. He's got a dagger there. And I've not really got anyone with a polearm, so I'll just use this guy for Bill, and we'll say that's his polearm, be it a halberd or whatever. So as Jacob and Bill have this connection with the Temple of Mithra and their suspicions thereof, I'm going to roll on this chart in Mythic to give me a bit more of an idea of where this adventure might go and what they need to do. So it's the event meaning action and event meaning subject. So I'll roll twice on this. We've got a 36, which is imitate, and 97, which is leadership. That suggests that the leader of the temple is not who they seem to be. Now the problem is, Jacob would be quite happy to go breaking into the temple at whatever hour to try and uncover some evidence, but Bill is honest and law-abiding. He is the law. So we have that difficulty there. So as we are using two characters as a solo player, we can, I think, get away with an opposed roll, and Jacob will try to persuade Bill to take some action, or some slightly dubious action, to infiltrate this temple and find out what's going on there. Now I'm not sure what skill. Perhaps Bill will try to persuade him otherwise. So okay, Jacob rolls and adds 7, 8, 9. Bill rolls and adds 4 and gets 8. So Jacob somehow manages to persuade Bill to go a bit clandestine and try to sneak into this temple and find their evidence. So as Jacob and Bill are going to try and sneak into the temple through a back way, perhaps this is Burnton with all the canals, so they're going to sneak across this canal towards the temple. Nobody's going to stop Bill really, because he's got a seal of authority and he's a militiaman, even though he's sort of in plain clothes, sort of disguise. But we're going to roll in Table Fables 2 for a city event as we approach the temple. 54. The party is approached by a pretty florist who talks them into buying flowers. That's unusual because we're out at night. So who is this florist? So as this is a very weird occurrence late at night, I'm assuming that this isn't human. There are a limited number of monsters in Warlock, and one of them is the ghoul. So I think this ghoul has some kind of weird enchantment to make it appear like a florist or a young lady wandering about and trying to attack prey. So yeah, we'll use the ghoul's stats. She has 2 attacks in a round. Her claws do an awful lot of damage, and yeah, she is poisonous as well, so that will lead to further problems if we get hit, which we probably will. So can we do a spot check? Both of their spot skills are 5 in order to detect that something is wrong before we get too close. No, that rolled really badly. So we do get close, and I'm going to give ourselves a chance by letting us roll initiative as she suddenly turns and decides to attack. So the ghoul rolls this, she gets a 3, we roll this, we also get a 3. I'm just going to re-roll. Ghoul 5, us 4. Okay, I didn't want to lose any luck yet because the poison can cause issues with that. So the ghoul will attack. Oh gosh, she gets two claw attacks per round, so I guess she'd just like slash at both of us. So she would Bill has his polearm, and the ghoul's attack is, her attack skill is 7. Bill's polearm, as he tries to defend himself, is 8. So let's deal with that. Okay, the ghoul can be red because it's her attack. She adds 5 to this. So yeah. Oh gosh, yeah, that is a massive hit. So the ghoul rolls 4 damage. Bill is wearing light armour, so that was reduced by 2, so that's 2 damage for him. He now has to test his luck, which is 12 added to 11. That beats 20, so we are not poisoned, but we lose 1 luck point for having to use our luck like that. The ghoul then, as her second attack, gets another +5 as this is her initiative, attacking the other guy. Oh gosh, that's yeah. He is using his dagger, which is a small blade, I should say. 8. So 8. Yeah, even that, he's not going to do it. So he is hit for 2d6 damage. Wow, 9 damage. He also has light armour, so that's 8 damage. Wow. He's got quite a lot of stamina, so that's good. But he's down to 16. Now he has to test his luck, which is 8. That is 18. That does not beat 20. He loses 1 luck point, and he is poisoned, which means that he will lose 1d6 stamina at the start of the next 1d3 rounds. So that's for the next 3 rounds, he will lose 1d6 stamina at the start of each round. Now we have the initiative. Bill will attack with his polearm. Yeah, that's 12 total, but we add 5 because we've got the initiative now, so that's 17 total. She needs a 10 or more, which she gets, of course. So yeah, she hits us for 2d6 more damage. 4 again for him, reduced by 3, so that's 1 point of damage for Bill. And we have to test our luck again to avoid poison, and we're not going to do that. So Bill is also poisoned for the next 2 rounds. So at the start of this next round, Bill loses 6 stamina from the poison, and Jacob loses 1 stamina from the poison, and the ghoul gets her attack +5 versus Bill. Oh boy. Yeah, that's poison is not cumulative. That's 9 minus 2, so that's 7 damage to Bill. And she attacks the other guy. Yeah, she's doing that. 4 damage to Jacob, reduced by 3, so down to 1 damage for him. Now our action, we are going to jump into the canal and swim away. I might give each of us a swim check. Jacob's got 5. See if we take maybe d3 damage from not quite drowning. Oh yeah, he does. And Bill, 6 plus his swimming skill of 6, so that's 12, nowhere near 20. We each take d3 damage from breathing in the horrible water. Jacob's down to 12 stamina, and oh gosh, this could kill Bill. Bill is down to 2, so we swim away from the ghoul. Bravely bold Sir Robin. Yeah, Bill is rethinking his life choices right now, from letting Jacob talk him into that. Yeah, we're going to rethink our strategy. Why didn't we just buy some flowers? She might not have attacked us. So recovery, we recover half our lost stamina after half an hour of rest, and we cover the rest of the stamina after a good night's sleep. Now, I think we need a good night's sleep to recalibrate our plans. Combat is so dangerous and so deadly that if you rush in like an idiot, like I do generally, then you're going to end up in trouble. So we need to use, unfortunately, we need to use our brain power to get through this situation. So I think Jacob is going to use his streetwise skill, find one of his contacts, and see if we can persuade someone to help us get into the temple or get the evidence. So his streetwise skill is 12, is it? No, it's 8, sorry. Going mad. It's 8. So he needs a 12, that's what I meant. And he does, he gets a 17. So we are able to find someone, perhaps one of the other members of the religious community there, the priests of Mithra, or an assistant, to talk to and help us get into the temple and get some evidence maybe. So that afternoon, under the subterfuge of being shown around the temple by Brother Grimshaw here, Jacob and Bill, in his capacity as a militiaman, with his seal of authority and all that, he's got Jacob to try and smarten himself up a bit and look a bit less disreputable, and possibly use a disguise so he doesn't look like his usual agitating self. His disguise skill is 5. That's 17, so we don't make that, but yeah, he's not particularly you know, he's letting Bill do all the talking and trying to keep a low profile, so he's not really showing who he is as much as possible. So we are going through the back part of the temple to as part of a safety inspection, which Bill is doing to make sure everything. There has been trouble with the sewers, and Bill says, yes, I must inspect the sewers to make sure that there's nothing coming in through your drains. We don't want that spoiling the temple. So if you'd be very kind, Brother Grimshaw, and Brother Grimshaw, who's in on it, he is Jacob's contact, says, I would be happy to make sure that there's nothing going wrong. So we are creeping further back into the temple. Well, not creeping, but yeah, trying not to come across anybody. And I'll do a yeah, let's do an oracle. Do we meet anybody that we have to interact with? Yes, but they are just bustling by and saying, oh, hello, Brother Grimshaw. Oh, hello, Brother Brother Journey's Greatest Hits. That's his name. So you know, it depends where you look when you're looking for ideas. So we carry on back, no problem from him. Brother Journey's Greatest Hits just wanders off up here doing his own thing, and we are led by Brother Grimshaw to a room which is the head priest's office, and the other priests are generally not admitted. They are not there's no entry sign, but it is generally accepted that you do not go in there. The head priest likes his alone time and to spend his time with himself, contemplating, meditating, and cogitating, probably. So we are about to enter that room. So is the head priest in there? No, but I'm thinking we find evidence that all is not as it seems. Yeah, this isn't quite right. So we are going to examine this stuff. It looks like that this tomb here is the resting place of the head priest, who is some kind of undead. And we're going to check out the bookshelf, where there'll be no doubt sinister tomes that he shouldn't have access to. and shouldn't be reading. And one of them's open over here where he's doing dark magic, and this is full of the tithes that Mithra's followers have been giving in good faith to the temple, and he's keeping it all, or spending it on arcane books, which are very expensive, so he can do his dreadful magical deeds. So yeah, we've found a lot of evidence. Okay. Now, from the Warlock bestiary, I'm thinking, well, the bestiary in the core book, I'm thinking it's a lich. Now, we can't possibly fight a lich, but what Brother Grimshaw can do is use the blessing of Mithra to try and undo some of the dark magic. We can take evidence from the bookshelves that this guy is not who he seems to be, but we're going to have to be quick. We could take evidence that the tithes are being misused with perhaps receipts from arcane booksellers that we could find. So let's have a bit of a rummage around. Now, if we use Spot maybe as we rummage about, that might make sense. So Jacob's going to have a rummage. His Spot is not great, it's 5. Yeah, he's rubbish. And Bill's Spot is also 5. Okay, we don't find a great deal. Now, I think Brother Grimshaw, as a priest, would know a little bit about liches, and perhaps this one has a weakness that we can find. If he can find like the source of the lich's power in here, maybe. So yeah, he's going to do that. He's going to have a rummage. He's an NPC, so let's see if he's able to find something. Yes, but it is difficult to get to, or it is guarded by something. Perhaps there is a secret entrance in the tomb which leads down to where the lich's special item is, which is the source of his power. So we're going to take the lid off here as quickly as we can and try and go down and find it. Now, this lich, who is disguised as the high priest, has clearly done a deal with some rat men to guard his phylactery, is it? Well, whatever holds his power anyway. So that is in the skull over there, which was from eBay, I believe. So what we're going to do, we're going to roll initiative and see what happens. This is the rat men, 1, and this is us, which is 6. So we go first. Awesome. Now we've got some missile weapons that we're going to play with. Bill has got his crossbow, so he's going to shoot that. Now let's have a look at the dodge skill of these. Well, I guess the dodge skill will be their ordinary combat skill. So we are adding a 5 because we have initiative, I think. Well, it says in melee specifically that the combatant who initiated the attack gains a bonus of +5, so it doesn't say that that is anything to do with ranged attacks. So that's what we're going to do. He rolls this and adds his crossbow of 7. That's 18. These guys, one of them, 19 plus 4. Yeah, he misses with his crossbow. So what about Jacob? Has he got anything worth throwing? No, he hasn't. Not really got any missile weapons. So Brother Grimshaw is going to try not to get involved just yet. But now these guys are going to come up to us and attack. So they're adding +5 for having the initiative in melee combat, and they're adding +4 for their weapon skill. +9 total. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Jacob with his dagger. 5. Yeah, small blades I'm looking for. 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. He gets hit by 1d6 +3 for their short swords. 6 damage. Take away 1 for his armour, so that's 5 damage to Jacob. This is very, very dangerous combat. Now this one attacks Bill, adding a 9 total. Wow. 24, and Bill adds 8. Wow, gosh, no. 2, that's 5 total. Take away 3, so that's 2 total. So he's down to 17. And I worry that Brother Grimshaw is gonna... I think one hit will just knock him out, to be honest. Because he's not a fighter. He's he's not going to do much against that really. He's just going to get knocked out because he's an NPC. He's a lover, not a fighter, and he's down there. So we won't worry about him. He'll perhaps be okay if we. Oh gosh, we're in trouble, aren't we? Yeah. Well, we get the initiative now. So come on, Jacob, with your small blade. Adding 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 total. He gets actually 22, so he hits him again. Whoops. 6 damage. Take away 3, so he loses 3 damage because it's a bit, fighting fantasy. Oh gosh. Right, we're trying to hit, Bill's trying to hit now. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, plus with initiative, plus his polearm skill, lots of numbers, of 8, so that's 30. This guy adds, yes. So we actually hit something, and I'm so confused. I need to find out how much damage he does. So that's 2d6 plus 2 damage, 10. The baddie's wearing light armour, so that's 7 points of damage to that guy. So he's down to 3 stamina, which is nice result there. Yeah, Brother Grimshaw's down for the count. So it is the baddie's go now. Oh gosh. He will attack Jacob. That is 16 plus 4. That's 20. Jacob adds small blade 8. Wow. Excellent work. D6 plus 2. Oh, for goodness sake. Right. So that's 1 damage to that guy. He's down to 9. This isn't great. The second guy attacks. Whoa, that's a good start. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Can Bill defend? Yes, he can. Excellent work. This guy, however, is going to attack. Oops, plus 9 total. That's 20. Bill's polearm is 8. He needs 12 or more, and he does not get that. So they do 1d6 plus 3. That is 6. Take away 2 for our armour. That's 4 damage on Bill. He's down to 13. This combat is very, very brutal indeed. So, Jacob, come on. He attacks with his dagger again. That's 9 plus... No, sorry, 19, because of the 5. Plus 8, 19 plus 8, that's 27. 14, 18. He manages to hit. the Ratman. 6, 7, 8 damage, minus 1. 8. Okay, he's down to 2. That's a mighty strike against him. Yes. Bill, come on. 10 plus 5, 15 for the initiative. 15 plus 8, oh gosh, 23, yay! Maths. Good, this is going a lot better this time. 2d6 plus 2, 5, 7, 8, 9 total. Take away 3. 6 damage to that guy, which actually takes him below 0. And we could go into mighty strikes and criticals, but we're struggling. They have the initiative now, and this guy is enraged, but that guy will attack Jacob first. 5 for initiative, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Jacob, with his small blade of 8, needs to roll 13 or more, and he does not do that. So he takes d6 plus 3, 6 damage, take away his armour of 2, so that's 4 damage to Jacob. He's down to 12 stamina, and this guy is going to attack Bill, adding 5, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 for his weapon skill. Oops, oh gosh, probably. Oh, for goodness sake, I wish I left it. 8, 9, yeah. Oh, we could have done so much better with that. 3 plus 3, take away 2 for our armour. Okay, that's 4. He's down to 9 stamina. Now, as we stand here rolling dice, Jacob, come on, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Add 8 for his small blade, that's 29. This guy adds 4, and he's not going to beat that. So he takes d6 plus 2, 5, 6, 7. And that is enough to defeat him. Deadly, deadly, deadly combat. And come on, Bill. 12 plus 5 for initiative, 17 plus 8 for his pole arm. 12, 17, 8, 25, sorry. And he's not going to beat that. That's 24 for him total. Come on, Bill, let's take this home. 6 total damage. Take away 3. So that's 3 damage to that remaining one, who was on full health, but now he's down to 7. Now this Ratman is intelligent. We've just taken down 2 of his mates when the tide could have turned either way, and I think he's going to do the sensible thing. So if I check the bestiary and see what intelligent means, this being is intelligent, can speak, but perhaps not in a tongue the characters know, and use tools and weapons. It is also able to create strategies and plans, and also he doesn't want to get slaughtered for the sake of a few coins from a dodgy lich, so he is going to lay down his arms and surrender, and we shall suggest that he exits back to the sewers and rethinks his life choices. We are going to tend to Brother Grimshaw, who got knocked out. He wasn't really seriously involved in the fight, he was just like cowering and trying to defend himself, so we will patch him up and go over to the school here and proceed to perhaps we have to take the eyes out of the sockets in order to destroy the lich's power. So I think that is what we're going to try and do. Now the other floor plans were from the big book of battle mats, and this one is from the Dungeons and Dragons Fantasy Adventure board game from about 2000 or so, and the lich is from there, and the kobolds, sorry, gnolls, and the Lich appears as we are working on this magical device and begins to make his way towards us in horror as he realises what we're trying to do. "Brother Grimshaw, I might have known you would betray me." And Brother Grimshaw simply replies, "Well, you are a Lich after all." As it makes its way towards us, we carry on hacking away at the skull to destroy his power. So we're both going to have a first attempt at using our weapons. I'm going to use a normal skill check to try and do the significant damage to this thing and ruin the Lich's power. So we add an 8, we do not get that, so Bill's going to have a go. Oh, that's even worse. I'm going to give Brother Grimshaw a go with his staff. He might have a I'll check what the standard human stat is. Yeah, it's 5, so... Oh, that's terrible. So the Lich advances to nearby. We have a last chance before he starts to lay the smack down. So I'm going to let Brother Grimshaw go first this time. No. Jacob. Oops. 19 with his skills. No. Come on, Bill. Oh gosh. Okay, now we're in trouble. The Lich is upon us, and he's going to start dishing out some aggro. So I'm just going to roll initiative to see what he does. Oops. He drops his dice on the floor. So he will roll a 4 and we will roll a 1. So he gets to do a thing first as we try our best to defend ourselves and smash up this skull thing. So pretending to be a priest as he was, he's probably got a staff as a weapon, something like that, and unfortunately he gets 3 attacks per round. We can't possibly hope to defeat him in combat, so he's going to attack each one of us. Oh boy. So 14, 19 with initiative and 9 with his skill, so that's about 28 or something ridiculous. And Brother Grimshaw is down again. Yeah. His next attack will be against Jacob. 1, 6 plus 9 is 15. Come on, Jacob. 8 plus 9, 10, 11. I do not believe you did that. 3 damage from the staff. Take away 3 to a minimum of 1. And he attacks Bill lastly. 17 plus 9, 26. 12 plus 8. Yeah. Look, he's only got a staff. 1 minus, yeah, it's minimum damage of 1. So Bill is down to 8. Now we are still concentrating on trying to destroy this thing. So we each add 8 to our roll. So Jacob, 8, 9, 10, 11. Bill, 18, 19, 18, add 8, 26. That is what we needed. A standard skill check I was using to try to deactivate the Lich's power in the skull. Now, as the Lich shrieks at us and reaches for us with its nasty skeletal clawed hands, it shimmers out of existence and crumbles to a pile of bones on the floor. If we had have just fought it in hand to hand, we would have been destroyed. Once again we would hasten to the side of Brother Grimshaw to bring him round, and with all the evidence we found in the High Priest's chamber, we will be able to explain this to the authorities, because one of us is a militiaman after all, and hopefully the Temple of Mithra will be able to improve its image in the future. Now we have defeated the Lich who was pretending to be its High Priest. Now, as you've seen, the combat in Warlock is quite deadly, just like Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, but obviously a very different system. It's an interesting little thing, but it isn't cheap, and but the background does sound very cool. The sort of setting that is tied to the game, but you don't have to use. For instance, you know, I was using the Midderlands today, but yes, that was Warlock, an interesting little game.